that you took part in. Lisa, please.
Hi, everybody. I was kind of hoping you had forgotten that part, but Lisa had to come and remind you. But anyway, yeah, thanks for making time to appear here through the rough conditions and the weather and the traffic jam. I want to thank IEBC, URAIA, True Blaq, and all the parties involved for making this initiative finally happen. We all saw how successful the last time's initiative was, and we're definitely, on behalf of the artists, I just want to say we are glad to be part of the team. I was telling KJ about an hour ago that I once was performing at a show in KICC, and there were like about 5,000 guys. It was a global peace initiative. And I sort of drifted off during my performance. I started asking myself, why are these 5,000 people doing everything that I'm telling them to do? It got me thinking, us as artists in the society, we're really looked up as role models in society. And we are, whatever we say, if Juakali says coexisting with each, as different tribes is a cool thing, it's definitely cool. You know what I mean? They believe that. It's one thing if he says it, and one thing as if a 60-year-old guy gets on stage and says, don't do this, the youth will be rebellious towards that, okay? But if Juakali says it, you'll be like, you know what? That's the in thing. We were trying to be like Juakali, so it has to pass, you know what I mean? So I just want to say thank you on behalf of all the artists. We'll do our best because we believe that we know the language of the youth, and we're going to pass on the message in a more attractive way to them. Thank you.
Well, for the Kuvuka Kuvuka campaign, we realize that artists have a lot of influence on this generation that we aim to speak to. And you realize influence is power. But with that immense power also comes great responsibility. So these are artists who are saying they're using the power that they have responsibly to talk to a generation, to tell them that you have to be involved in the process of decision making. It's a tried and tested route that we have used before, where peers talk to their peers and tell them that you need to get involved, because if you're not involved, the decisions that are being made don't include you, but they will affect you. So you better get involved. You better get involved, and you also must take responsibility for what is being done, because if you do not vote, someone else is going to vote for you. We're going to have artists coming in, and we want to have artists coming from all genres. However, what we can say right now is that the most influential artists in every genre are going to be on this campaign. The campaign is Kuvuka Kuvuka, basically out with the old, in with the new, out with the old mental house, out with the old way of thinking, in with the new. Kenya is a very interesting place, but also very amazing place, whereby we are moving into a new dispensation, and this dispensation is not only political but also constitutional. So tunavuka kutoka constitution ze naingia constitution mpya, tunavuka from an old way of doing things to a new way of doing things, from a different dispensation where we had 3 elections. We are now going to be electing 6 ballots, from a place where we are a tribal nation to where we are a nation of tribes, to a place where we are one tribe, the Kenyan tribe. And most importantly, we need to have a very serious battalion of young Kenyans who are making this happen through a ballot revolution. And that's why we are calling upon our peers to get involved. And to do this and to speak to them authoritatively, we're using the artists. Yeah. Good one.
Ni aje boy wenyu hapa hivi Octopi IEBC na mazera ndio tumekuja hapa hivi as my boy, unajua si ndio the future, na pia nimekama hapa hivi kuaje wasea ni wa take vote. Sijakuja hapa kuambia tu vote nani, lakini lazima uvote. Venye tu ngoma ya Toboy nasemaga ni kuvote ni right yako, yani ukitaka change then utavote, usingoje msa kuvotie alafu sema ukuchagua msa unataka. Chukua kura, enda vote na amani mazee. Unajua na mimi nimeparticipate kwa hii kitu this time, yani because nataka kuona peace, because nilikuwa affected the last post election violence na nilivote bado na bado nitavote mwaka. So mimi na urge kila mse pale hivyo nje, yani kawe ni fan na uko over 18 mtu wangu, make sure umechukua kura, make sure umevote mazee, to vote for peace, yani namba 8 baby.
Vijana vipi mazee? Chris Darling hapa hivi. In ndio time au sio? It's time for you the youth to come out, get your IDs, toka nje mazee, go get your voters ID. Kuwa na ID, kuwa na kitambulisho. Sasa ndio time yetu, sisi ndio tunasei kama vijana. Kama si sasa hakuna siku nyingine. Kwa hivyo ukika mtaani ungoje kudanganya watu, ukae tu mtaa itakaa mzii. Lazima sisi ndio tutoke nje na to make sure tumemake kitu ime happen. Sasa ndio hii time, sisi ndio tunaoni country. Hakuna mtu mwingine anaoni country isipokuwa sisi vijana. Kwa hivyo mazema youth wenzangu, sisi wote tutoke nje, make sure una ID, kwa sababu hiyo mazee ndio weapon yako ya kufanya hii country kwa vile tunataka ikue, au sio? Vijana, this is our time. Hakuna siku nyingine kama si sasa. Ni sasa hivi.
Kevin Ombajo is my name. I am the CEO of True Blaq. Hapo nje najulikana kama Big Kev. Na nimekuwa na uhusiano na very many civic voter education programs. The most successful being Vijana Tugutuke. In Vijana Tugutuke, we registered independently verified 2.4 million out of the 4 million voters that registered, either directly or indirectly attributed to the campaign that we did. Now, building on that, 5 years later, and after post-election violence, we are in a place where we need to make a transition. The transition has to be a peaceful transition. It has to be a transition that captures the imagination of the majority of the youth. We have over 17 million people who are between the age of 18 and 35. Now, these 17 million people are the ones we are targeting to register to vote. If we can get over 20 million people to turn up at the elections and vote, that would be the most fantastic thing for us. But hata tukifikisha hiyo 18 million tu bado tutakuwa tu sawa. Juu after post election unajua wase walisema people will have lost the desire, to vote, and they've lost faith in the electoral process. Yet, tukifanya the last referendum ya constitution, we had over 12 million people registering to vote, which is even more than the people that registered to vote for the last election. So basically, what am I saying? We are launching a campaign called Kuvuka Kuvuka. Kuvuka Kuvuka. Kuvuka Kuvuka. Please put the emphasis on tunavuka. We are making a transition. We are crossing over from the old to the new. We are crossing over from an old constitution to a new constitution fully implemented. We need to protect it. We are crossing over from one dispensation of leadership to a new era of leadership. We will have a new president in 2013. We are crossing over in the style of voting. Hakuna tena mambo za manual, sijui naandikisha wapi, sijui nini, ma voters card, hizo zote tumwacha nyuma. We are moving into the biometric voter kits, which are going to help us guys to control the fraud that has been there in elections in the past, and it's going to enable us guys to vote. And with this dispensation also, we have a lot of new people who are going to be on the ballot. Why? Because we have very many different levels of government. Tuko na senator, governor, tuko na youth representative, tuko na women's representative, tuko na MP, tuko na a new president. So Kuvuka Kuvuka is going to equip and empower young people between the age of 18 and 35 with the information and the tools they need to make the right choice and to be able to make the transition. We are advocating for a peaceful, free and fair election, and we are going to push for a critical mass to basically do that. We are creating a movement where the constitution and the citizens are going to be they're going to be key. They're going to be the drivers of change and the drivers of our transition. We are moving away from tribalism, we are moving away from the corruption that has plagued us for so long, for historical injustices. We are moving to a place where every Kenyan is equal and every Kenyan should get an equal opportunity. And I think that the weapon we have to make this revolution work is the ballot. So Kuvuka Kuvuka is giving you power through the ballot to make this change. Asante.